Breaking, Arsenal reignite shock. Move for Yan Diomande. After PSG deal collapses Gunners. Today we have a huge transfer update that could completely change Arsenal's plans before the new Premier League season begins. Reports suggest Arsenal have renewed their interest in highly rated youngster Yan Diomande after his proposed move to Paris Saint-Germain reportedly failed to go through. If you love Arsenal as much as we do, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications and let's dive straight into today's massive Arsenal news. Come on, you Gunners. If those reports prove accurate, Arsenal could suddenly find themselves back in one of the most exciting transfer races of the summer. The timing is particularly interesting. Mikel Arteta and sporting director Andrea Berta have been working relentlessly to strengthen several positions. While much of the attention has been focused on established stars, Arsenal have also continued their strategy of identifying elite young talents before they become global superstars. Yan Diomande fits that profile perfectly. Although he is still very young, Diamande has been attracting attention from some of Europe's biggest clubs thanks to his combination of pace, technical ability, confidence in one-on-one situations and enormous long-term potential. For months, many believed PSG were leading the race for his signature. Reports claimed the French champions were prepared to complete a massive package, reportedly worth around £93.5 million, a figure that surprised many supporters because of the player's age. However, according to the latest reports, that move has stalled, opening the door for other European giants. And one of those clubs is Arsenal. That alone has sent Arsenal supporters into a frenzy across social media. Could this become one of the biggest surprises of the transfer window? Why are Arsenal interested? Arteta has repeatedly shown that he wants players who can develop within Arsenal's system instead of simply buying finished stars. We've already seen that philosophy with several young signings in recent years. The Arsenal manager wants technically gifted footballers who are comfortable under pressure, capable of pressing aggressively, and intelligent enough to adapt to multiple tactical systems. Reports suggest Arsenal's scouting department has been following Diamande for quite some time. Rather than reacting to PSG's failed deal, Arsenal may simply be returning to a player they already admired. That is an important distinction. It suggests this isn't a panic move. Instead, it could be part of a long-term recruitment strategy. What makes Diamande special? One reason Europe's biggest clubs have been monitoring Diamande is his fearless approach. He doesn't shy away from defenders. Instead, he attacks them. His acceleration allows him to beat opponents in tight spaces, while his close control makes him dangerous both in wide areas and when cutting inside. Modern football demands attackers who can play across multiple positions. Reports suggest Diamande is capable of operating on either wing, while also adapting to more central attacking roles when required. That versatility is something Arteta values enormously. Arsenal rarely sign players who can only play one position. Flexibility is becoming one of the defining characteristics of Arteta's squad. Arsenal's current situation. Although Arsenal already possess plenty of attacking quality, the club are planning for both the present and the future. The Premier League is becoming more competitive every season. Manchester City continue to strengthen. Liverpool remain dangerous. Chelsea are investing heavily. Manchester United are rebuilding. To stay ahead, Arsenal cannot simply rely on the same squad year after year. Depth is becoming just as important as quality. Adding another elite young talent could ensure Arsenal remain competitive across the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup and Carabao Cup. Financial questions. The biggest talking point surrounding this story remains the reported valuation. If the figures being discussed are accurate, Arsenal would have to make one of the largest investments in their history. That naturally raises questions. Would Arsenal really spend such a huge amount on a developing player? Or could the eventual fee be significantly lower if negotiations reopen after PSG's reported collapse? At this stage, there has been no official confirmation of an Arsenal bid. Much of the current discussion is based on transfer reports and speculation, so fans should treat the reported figures with caution until more concrete information emerges. However, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Arsenal appear determined to remain active in the transfer market, and if an opportunity arises to sign one of Europe's brightest young talents, they may not hesitate. The coming days could prove decisive. Will Arsenal make their move? Will another European giant enter the race, or could PSG return with a new offer? Those questions remain unanswered, but one thing is certain: this transfer saga is only just beginning. In part 2, we'll take a deep tactical look at Yan Diomande's playing style, compare him with Arsenal's current attackers, examine how he could fit into Arteta's system, and assess whether this blockbuster move is realistic or simply another transfer rumour. Stay tuned. Can Yan Diomande become Arsenal's next superstar? Tactical analysis and transfer reality. Welcome back, Gunners! The Yan Diomande transfer story is gathering momentum, and after discussing Arsenal's renewed interest in part 1, it's time to take a closer look at the player himself. Why are so many of Europe's biggest clubs tracking him, and more importantly, how could he fit into Mikel Arteta's plans if Arsenal eventually complete this sensational signing? Let's dive straight in. One of the reasons Arsenal's recruitment team has earned so much praise over the past few years is that they rarely focus only on what a player is doing today. Instead, they evaluate what that player could become in 3, 5, or even 10 years. That approach has helped Arsenal build one of the youngest and most exciting squads in European football. Yan Diomande appears to fit that exact profile. Rather than simply looking at goals and assists, Arsenal scouts reportedly value his technical quality, intelligence, movement off the ball, and ability to make quick decisions under pressure. Those are qualities Arteta demands from every attacking player. Diamande appears different. Instead of relying on one attacking pattern, Arteta could change his approach from match to match. Learning from experienced players. Another reason Arsenal could be an ideal destination is the environment. Young players need experienced teammates who can help them improve. At Arsenal, Diamande would have the opportunity to train every day alongside elite internationals. Working under Arteta would also accelerate his tactical education. The Arsenal manager is known for paying close attention to positioning, movement, pressing triggers, and decision-making. Many players have improved significantly after joining Arsenal. Supporters would hope Diamande could follow that same path. Is the reported fee realistic? Now let's address the biggest question. The reported £93.5 million figure has shocked many fans. If accurate, it would place enormous pressure on any young player. However, transfer negotiations are rarely straightforward. Initial valuations often change. Payment structures can differ. Performance-related bonuses may be included. Installments can spread the cost over several years. Most importantly, Arsenal have not officially confirmed any offer. At this stage, the reported valuation remains part of the wider transfer speculation. Supporters should avoid assuming a deal is closed simply because discussions are being reported. Transfer windows change rapidly. One day, a deal looks impossible. The next day, negotiations suddenly accelerate. Competition from other clubs, Arsenal are unlikely to have a free run if Diamande becomes available. When a young player attracts attention from clubs like PSG, it usually means several other European giants are monitoring the situation as well. That creates pressure. Arsenal may need to convince the player that North London offers the best sporting project rather than simply the highest salary. Fortunately, Arsenal have become one of Europe's most attractive destinations. The club regularly competes in the Champions League. They challenge for major trophies. Young players receive opportunities. And Arteta has built a reputation for improving developing talent. Those factors could work strongly in Arsenal's favour. What could happen next? Over the coming days and weeks, Arsenal supporters should watch for several key developments. First, will reliable journalists confirm that Arsenal have made direct contact? Second, will PSG attempt to revive their reported interest? Third, could another major club unexpectedly enter the race? Finally, will Arsenal decide that the financial package represents good value or shift their attention elsewhere? Those answers will determine whether this story develops into one of the biggest transfers of the summer or fades away as another rumour. One thing is certain, Arsenal remain active in the market and the club continues searching for players who can strengthen both the present and the future. In part 3, we'll shift our focus to another explosive Arsenal target, Nico Williams. We'll break down his outstanding World Cup performances, explain why Arsenal are reportedly interested, examine his £77 million release clause, and discuss how he could transform Arteta's attack. Don't miss it. Nico Williams to Arsenal. The World Cup star who could transform Mikel Arteta's attack. Now let's move to the second major story that has Arsenal fans talking. While the Gunners continue to monitor young talents like Yan Diomande, another name has exploded back into the headlines: Nico Williams. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's dive straight into today's massive Arsenal news. Come on, you Gunners! Following an outstanding FIFA World Cup campaign with Spain, reports suggest Arsenal are once again evaluating whether to trigger the winger's reported £77 million release clause. If this deal happens, Arsenal would be signing one of Europe's most exciting wide forwards. But why is Arsenal interested again? Let's break everything down. Since bursting onto the scene with Athletic Club, Nico Williams has built a reputation as one of Europe's most dangerous one-on-one attackers. His biggest strengths are obvious every time he steps onto the pitch. He possesses explosive acceleration, elite dribbling ability, outstanding balance, fearless attacking instincts, and perhaps most importantly, he consistently creates chances in the final third. Those qualities were on full display throughout Spain's World Cup campaign. Against some of the strongest international defences, Williams repeatedly stretched opposition backlines with his pace. He wasn't simply running into space, he was making intelligent movements, dragging defenders out of position and creating opportunities for teammates. That is exactly the type of football Mikel Arteta wants Arsenal to play. Fast, fluid, aggressive, unpredictable. One area Arsenal have looked to improve is attacking depth. Bukayo Saka has carried an enormous workload over the past several seasons. Whenever Arsenal have been without Saka, the drop in attacking threat has often been noticeable. Gabriel Martinelli has also experienced periods of injury and inconsistent form. Leandro Trossard offers versatility, but is approaching the later stages of his career. Adding another elite winger would dramatically increase Arsenal's attacking options. Williams can play on both wings. Although naturally stronger on the left, he is equally capable of switching to the right when required. That tactical flexibility is something Arteta highly values. Imagine Arsenal's front three. Nico Williams on the left, a central striker leading the line. Bukayo Saka attacking from the right. Behind them, Martin Odegaard pulling the strings. Declan Rice controlling midfield, Martin Zubimendi providing defensive balance. That attacking combination could become one of Europe's fastest and most creative forward lines. Defenders would have no opportunity to double mark Saka because Williams demands equal attention. That alone could improve Arsenal's entire attacking structure. Another reason Arsenal reportedly admire Williams is his work rate. Modern football isn't just about scoring goals. Managers expect attackers to defend, they press, recover possession, track runners, close passing lanes. Williams excels in these areas. He never stops running. Even when Spain lost possession during the World Cup, he immediately worked to win the ball back. That mentality perfectly matches Arteta's demands. Every Arsenal player must contribute defensively. Williams fits that profile naturally. Let's talk about the financial side. Reports indicate his contract contains a release clause worth around £77 million. Unlike traditional negotiations, release clauses simplify transfers. If a club agrees personal terms with the player and activates the clause, the selling club cannot reject the bid. That means Arsenal's biggest challenge would not necessarily be negotiating with Athletic Club. Instead, convincing Williams that North London is the right destination could become the decisive factor. Competition is expected to be fierce. Several elite European clubs have monitored Williams over recent transfer windows. His combination of youth, pace, technical ability and international experience makes him one of the most attractive wingers on the market. Arsenal therefore cannot afford to delay indefinitely if they truly decide to pursue him. Transfer markets move quickly. Waiting too long can allow rivals to step in. Another important consideration is Arteta's tactical evolution. Arsenal no longer rely solely on possession football. They now transition rapidly after winning the ball. Williams is devastating during transitions. Few defenders can match him in open space. Once he accelerates, catching him becomes incredibly difficult. That would provide Arsenal with another dangerous counter-attacking weapon. Against teams that defend deep, Williams' dribbling would help unlock stubborn defences. Against teams that attack Arsenal, his pace becomes even more dangerous. Either way, he offers solutions. World Cup performances often increase a player's value. Big tournaments expose footballers to a global audience. Williams embraced that pressure brilliantly. Rather than shrinking under expectation, he delivered confident displays on one of football's biggest stages. Scouts from Europe's elite clubs would undoubtedly have taken notice. Arsenal certainly would have been watching closely. One fascinating tactical possibility involves rotating Arsenal's attacking line throughout matches. Williams could start on the left before switching to the right. Saka could occasionally move centrally. Martinelli could enter from the bench against tired defenders. These rotations make Arsenal much less predictable. Opposition coaches struggle to prepare when attackers constantly interchange positions. Arteta loves positional flexibility. Williams offers exactly that. Supporters have already begun debating the move across social media. Some believe Williams would immediately become one of the Premier League's best wingers. Others argue Arsenal should instead prioritise strengthening other positions. Those discussions highlight one thing. Fans recognise Williams' exceptional talent. Whether Arsenal eventually sign him or not, he remains one of Europe's hottest transfer names. Another major advantage is his age. Unlike many expensive signings nearing their peak, Williams still has room to improve. Under Arteta's coaching staff, Arsenal would hope to develop him even further. The club has built a reputation for improving young players. Just look at the progress made by Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, Gabriel Martinelli and others. Williams could become another long-term success story. However, Arsenal must also consider financial fair play and overall squad planning. Triggering a £77 million clause represents a major investment. If Arsenal also pursue other high-profile targets this summer, the club must balance spending carefully. Recruitment is never just about one player. It's about building a complete squad capable of challenging across every competition. That makes every transfer decision extremely important. So where does this story stand right now? At this stage, reports indicate Arsenal are interested and continue monitoring Nico Williams after his impressive World Cup performances. Whether that interest develops into a formal move remains to be seen. Until official bids are made and confirmed by reliable sources, supporters should treat speculation with caution. Even so, Williams undoubtedly fits many of the qualities Arteta values in an attacking player, and that alone makes this one of the biggest stories Arsenal fans will be watching in the coming weeks. End of part 3. Coming up in part 4, we'll bring everything together by assessing Arsenal's chances of signing both Yan Diomande and Nico Williams, examine what these deals could mean for the squad, and deliver the final verdict on whether this could become one of the club's most exciting transfer windows in recent years.